6:06, it was the decision that impacted millions of women across our state and thrust Arizona into a heated nationwide debate over reproductive rights. Roe v. Wade was overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court back in 2022, giving control over abortion rights back to the states. This past April, Arizona's Supreme Court ruled to uphold a near total ban on abortions from 1864, created while Arizona was still a territory. In the end, the Arizona legislature voted to strike down that law. Now, I recently followed up with Arizona Supreme Court Chief Justice Ann Timmer, who authored the dissent in this case, to get more insight into what actually went into making that historic decision.
You're aware of the weight, but it doesn't change the result.
And the case that quite possibly carried the heaviest decision this term was the abortion ruling. In April, the Arizona Supreme Court ruled to reinstate a near total ban created in 1864, nearly half a century before Arizona became the 48th state.
Why not let the baby have freedom? Where's the baby's freedom?
I'm pro a woman's right to choose.
Arizonans from all walks of life had no shortage of opinions on the 4-2 ruling. Chief Justice Ann Timmer, then the vice chief, disagreed with the majority opinion and wrote the dissent. You said we simply disagree vehemently with what the law means.
Yeah.
Vehemently.
Vehemently. Yeah, we did. And I think you asked earlier about does the weight of a decision have an influence. It doesn't on the outcome. It does in the writing. We were all very cognizant of the fact that this decision, of course, is going to get a lot of attention. But of course I know that they're going to be in for criticism. So I wanted, and I knew that they'd be accused of, well, they're just not doing their job. They're being very unfair and, all these things, and not deciding the case according to how they saw the law. So I wanted to give that juxtaposition by saying, hey, we disagree with them vehemently to show you how strongly we do disagree. And I think if you read our whole dissent, you'll see, yeah, we're pretty strongly disagree. But these are just judges doing what they think they're supposed to be doing, deciding the law as they interpret it. For the judges, it's a no-win scenario. Someone's going to be angry with you no matter what. This is the kind of case that no matter which way you decided, someone's going to say, well, that's just because they're being unfair. That's because they're, in this case, either pro-life or, or they're anti-abortion or that kind of thing. You can't get around that. So in a way, that just takes a load off, frankly. And there's only one thing you can do, which is exactly what you're supposed to do, which is you read the law, you read the Constitution, whatever the case is, and you interpret it as it should be interpreted, and you apply it as fairly as you can.
Yeah, really fascinating conversation with Chief Justice Timmer. I want to point out Arizona voters will now get to decide on abortion this election with Prop 139. I want to give you an inside look at how Arizona Supreme Court actually works. There are currently 7 justices serving on the bench. Each justice is appointed by the governor. After their first 2 years serving on the bench, that justice is then up for what's known as a retention election. If a justice gets retained by Arizona voters, they're not up for another vote again for another 6 years. Okay, so after that, it's every 6 years. Arizona law requires justices to retire at the age of 70. Governors appoint justices to the high court, but are required to pick from a submitted list of applicants put together by a bipartisan commission. Megan.
Nick, we appreciate you going in depth on that for us. Time right now is 6.